Now that we all know that AI has immense possibilities in whatever we are doing on a day-to-day basis, we thought of answering some very pertinent questions which a lot of us have. So we have our experts in-house, and we'll try and demystify some of these things, especially which are relevant to us printing companies. So the first question, Dada, is AI is evolving at an unprecedented pace and affecting every industry. In your view, what should entrepreneurs, especially in the printing industry, do to stay relevant? Any specific pointers would be really helpful.
So I just showed a tip of iceberg what AI can do. What we are currently doing and probably will achieve in a few months' time is, if the customer sends us a PO, we can just upload it somewhere. The AI system will check whether it's an existing order or a new order. If it's an existing order, it can check, it can create a job card, it can check whether you have the raw material in stock, it can create the indent, it can put in your machine schedule, and finally it can send a message back to the customer that we will be able to deliver it to you on this date, and all of these in few seconds time using generative AI. So that's the big change in thought process that we need to inculcate in, and that's coming. Then that's coming really fast, and it's the future. We can't avoid it.
As a follow-up on that, what you said might seem like rocket science to a lot of us, including me, who's a computer engineer. So how can somebody start? What is the first step that somebody can take here after going back that, okay, you know what, this is my start of my AI journey?
Two things. First, they have to understand this is coming and it's going to create a big impact. And like I said, the biggest impact in generative AI would be the way we are interacting with systems, right? Because you can just talk and it makes it a lot easier and faster. Now, if I look at my organization, they do a lot of clicks and they put data entry and they take so much of time doing work which doesn't involve any decision making, doesn't involve any checks or anything. It's just for the sake of doing it. That's how the ERP systems have been built all these years. They take so much of time. So we need to understand and we need to tell our ERP suppliers that, boss, this is already given. Why do you want me to put the same data 5 times? Why do you want me to click here and then click there? And why do you want me to do it? When all I need is 5 points that I have to give it to you, you should do it all your end. And if we start pressurizing our ERP suppliers, bhai ye karke de de mere ko, main ye nahi karna chahta, and you will only do it when you're convinced ki ye karna nahi hai, it's a waste of time. And if you are able to do it, and that's exactly what I'm doing now to ERP suppliers. भाई मेरे को बना के दे, मैं ऐसे फालतू का एक जॉब कार्ड एक दिन लगा के नहीं बना सकता.
I think the biggest takeaway for me here is that our existing system need a lot of technical training. With voice, I think all those barriers are away. With a regional language, with a local language, our operator at the bottommost of the pyramid can actually talk to a system and get the responses. As an add-on to that, Shiva, I think a big fear amongst every industry is that AI is going to take away our jobs. ये सब अगर AI करेगा तो हम क्या करेंगे? So what do you think about that?
I think to start with, AI is pretty dumb by itself. I mean, it says intelligence, but honestly it is not. Unless I call it augmented intelligence than calling it artificial intelligence, because if I'm not there, AI is not good. I think there is a lot of stuff that happens, especially for print industry. I would think that sidestepping to allied stuff, something like design, which is allied, which actually falls right next to it, it's much easier. There are very less barriers now because you can sidestep very easily. So I would say it actually improves opportunities than taking away opportunities that already exist. Right? And that's what we should be looking at. And this fear-mongering of saying that AI is like what Seinfeld had said earlier, that is kind of a little worrisome. Everything was a tool. We were worried about Photoshop when it came first. Like I'm talking about years back. We were worried about, you remember the time that satellite TV came in and we said, print is dead. It's not. It'll never be. I don't think that's going to change. That's not going to be the right way to look at it.
So I think what you're saying is that, yes, things will change, but newer opportunities will come out of this.
That's correct. That's right.
Shiva, another question for you. What are some of the most innovative AI applications that you have come across, especially which printing companies can start adopting right away?
Okay, other than the list that I actually put together, some of them are very good in the list. I actually showed some of the stuff. One is this entire visual attention system. It's absolutely brilliant. But two things which are very specific, which Print Studio can use, any printing industry can, person who's working in a printing industry can work. One is Packdora, and I'm sure lots of people have kind of seen it, and it's a paid packaging product, but it's absolutely brilliant. If you actually give a volume and the type of product actually gives you a measure and gives you the open die cut of what needs to be done and pretty much can be taken in. There is also a fabulous similar product that's come in new. Unfortunately, the licenses for India are not opened yet. It's called Esco Studio, which actually sits inside Illustrator. It's a plugin for Illustrator. So which means, again, it measures, gives you the end product pretty much print ready at the end of it. So smartly using a suite of AI products along with what we already use can give you pretty much a production-ready prototype.
So these are great cues for packaging companies who want to go up the value chain and offer more services than what they are currently offering to their existing customers. Manu, you have successfully implemented an AI-based estimation engine, which honestly, in my wildest of dreams, I couldn't think, because I know it takes me on an average more than 24 hours to give somebody a status of a job or an estimate. So can you share what has been the outcome or what measurable benefits you've got out of it when you showcase it to your customers?
So, I don't think my customers are going to send quotations and give order on my WhatsApp. But what it really allows is they have a nice tool to play around with. So they have a benchmark rate, and then they want to say, okay, this is too expensive. What if I don't want to use 300 GSM? What if I want to use 280? What if I want to change the coating? I want to do gloss lamination. I want to do whatever. And if they have to talk like this to a customer, to my sales guy, who has to talk to my estimation person, all of them are going to scratch each other's heads, because they'll say, boss, ek quotation, ek bata, main wahi dunga. Itna main bar nahi de sakta. With this tool, they can just play around and they know what is the differential pricing with different things, and it's much easier for them to come to a conclusion. And the second biggest unimaginable benefit that I got out of it was, like most companies, like business-driven companies that we are working with, we are not working with the HULs and the mega companies, but these business-driven companies, they always have a fear of technology. And some of the big ones, they even go ahead and install SAP and oracles and all these things, but their organization still feels, yaar, babu ne mein kya saap laga diya, right? Because they are afraid of this technology. And when I come and then show them the simplicity and how we are able to talk to my systems and get outputs from it, they feel, yaar, is bande ko technology ka gyan hai, he is a master. Mera printing ka problem to solve karega hi karega. He can also help me in technology, and that's one of the biggest gaining points as a marketing tool, I can say. I've used it.
But Manu, I think the reverse will also work, right? You can actually state that this is the price that I have or the budget that I have, and it can actually give you the specs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another important thing that we
Yes.
need to consider. If you say, that's the price that I can afford and you can do, it can reverse and give you what's possible.
So one of the prices was probably 228. They said, I only have a budget of 200.
Yeah.
It will give you suggestions, okay, change the GSM, this, that, and do the back-end calculation and give you the right product.
What Manu mentioned is very, very, I can relate to it a lot, because he has repositioned himself as a technology guru to his customers. And people start off with that kind of rapport that he'll build. I'm sure he'll gain a lot of customers because of what he's able to showcase to these technologies to his customers. Shiva, the first thing people thought that design and creativity need a lot of human interventions. AI can never replace them. However, what's happening is that those are the places where AI is making this most impact. Why is this, and what are your thoughts around it?
I think it will never, again, I'm going back to what I said, right? I don't think what comes out from AI can be directly production ready. It won't be market ready completely. But what fabulous thing that it does is that it actually opens the blue sky part of it. Imagine if there is a single person working out of the studio, there is another bouncing board that I can throw ideas into and get a whole bunch of options, rather than actually sticking to what I think is appropriate and keep doing that. So from an opening and possibilities of creativity perspective, AI is given phenomenal options of sorts. So it's a great starting point. It's not a necessarily good end point.
Okay.
Especially in the conceptual and creative aspect of it, it's a great starting point. And look at how we use OpenAI, right? First, I mean, like I'm talking about ChatGPT. We go to ChatGPT and say, can you give me a set of structures and probably start thinking around that. It is unfortunate if you're cutting and pasting that directly into your copy and stuff like that. Letters, mails, it's okay, but not necessarily the end product copy that you go in, but it's a great starting point.
Great. Manu, what would be your advice to other printing companies that may feel hesitant or overwhelmed about integrating AI into their process?
After this presentation, I don't think they would be feeling कि यार AI बिना भी जी सकते हैं. I think, and the way I explained that PO2 complete execution, delivery commitment, everything autonomously using AI. I mean that's the future. There is nothing stopping us. And again, reiterating what I started with, me as a regular print guy, right? I spend more time in printing rather than in computer and writing all these codes and things like that. Along with an Excel guy, right, who has no background of any engineering or who's not gone into a computer session. Just the two of us using ChatGPTs, understanding if, okay, this is my business problem, write a program to solve it, right? That's how we started working with it, and we came up here in just 5-6 months' time. So there is no stopping anyone, and you have to hit on. It's just that you have to believe, yeah. मैं जो कर रहा हूँ boring है, let's try to make it more exciting and you will end up doing crazy things.
And I can tell you for a fact that the camera system that Manu showed you, from concept to execution, he actually took only 15 days to get it working. It is just mind-boggling what companies can take years, he was able to do in 15 days.
So 15 days, two guys, I have a tech background, it's okay, I understand and I can explain what needs to be done. The other person has no tech background, he just listens to my advice and uses ChatGPT to write codes. Two of us, from idea to execution in 15 days, something that could replace a device which costs you 3 to 5 lakh rupees and doesn't work yet, is the power of AI, and we can't ignore it.
So now to ask you guys, we always feel that AI is for the larger companies. You need to have big budgets, etc. What strategies can smaller companies, especially printing companies, adopt to stay competitive?
Oh, you're looking at me? Okay, it's me.
Anyone can answer this.
Sorry. I think one of the important stuff that I've seen in smaller companies, AI is great when the resources are less. I think that's something that we've got to keep in mind. I mean, larger companies, enterprises have got the power of money and people to throw at problems. So if a problem arises, in India, we throw people at problems. So we actually put more people on the problem, more money on it. And I think they have the power. Smaller companies do not. And I think AI is a great possible alternative because it crunches down workflows very well, exactly what Manu showed. Or even the design studios crunches down time, gets you reactions way quicker than what happened. Iterations are possible very quickly. And that's predominantly it. We are very iterative, right? We are in a business which is iterative. Everybody wants quotes 20 times. They want to negotiate. They want to change the specs. Everybody wants to see the design 50 times, want to negotiate again, so on and so forth. So if that's got to be done for smaller teams, AI is ultra effective to use because the workflow time crunches quite a bit.
Manu, your thoughts on this?
So I'll give a small analogy. So any of you play tennis, badminton, squash in a very professional way? And how many of you play pickleball? Okay, not many hands, but in Calcutta, I think almost everyone plays pickleball. So the analogy is the big corporations are these professional tennis players, and for them, they need to get trained for years and years, and they feel, yaar, and बहुत कुछ कर रहे हैं. And उनको अगर pickleball खेलने भेज दो, like I also play good tennis, and then when I am asked to go and play pickleball, I really hate it because लगता है कौन है, क्या है, जो पहला बार जिंदगी में खेल रहा है, उस first time somebody is holding a racket and he's as good as I am playing. And that's the leveling ground that pickleball has got, and that's exactly the levelizer which OpenAI and these generative AIs have got. I mean, with no technological background, what we've achieved is something far greater than what a proper web company, a technical company would achieve, because they would be fighting with their traditional ways on doing how they are doing, and that's something that it's just breaking the barrier.
Yeah, like they say, elephants can't dance.
Yeah. So AI is a huge level playing ground for all of us. What somebody with 1,000 employees can do, we with 100, 200 employees can also achieve the same and maybe faster because elephants move faster, slower than what smaller nimble companies can do. Manu, if there is one takeaway or piece of advice you'd like to leave the audience, what would that be?
Be ready. So we've always had these discussions, ERP, no ERP. Those discussions are long gone. The biggest challenge with ERP, what we faced was, क्या मेरे लोग use कर पाएंगे? Would my team be efficiently using it? Would I be able to train my people to use ERP as effectively? Those were the biggest bottlenecks then when deciding whether we wanted to buy an ERP or not. Now with AI coming, generative AI coming and making the interface so much easier that your lowest level operator can interact with your ERP system as good as probably your dedicated ERP person. So it's going to completely change the way we use ERP. So we have to embrace ERPs now because एक बार वो तो लाना ही पड़ेगा, उसके पहले ये नहीं हो सकता है. So you have to start with that. We start with that full heart and soul with the intent that I have to put generative AI on top of it, making it a lot easier.
Manu, Shiva, any final thoughts?
I think it's here to stay, and I think it's important for us to embrace it very, very quickly as possible, because failing faster means we move further. So it's good to actually start and fail than not look at it at all and be intimidated by AI as something so alien that it'll eat you up one day. It won't.
We have time for a few audience questions. If anybody has any questions, we can have mic runners around.
Anybody for any questions?
Yeah,
we
there's
have
a question
about 5
there.
minutes.
Can we have a mic there, please?
Yes, please raise your hand.
Sir, if you can just introduce yourself and ask a question.
I'm Ashraf Chitalwala from Zarak Steels. We are setting up a printing in tin plate, so we are a little not related. But I want to know, Manu has been referring to an ERP, so which is the ERP that he uses?
So again, any ERP will work. I mean, it's not the ERP does the magic, it's how you use it is what matters.
Fine, thank you so much.
So the Indian print ERPs, Renuka, Indus, I use both of them and they work fabulously well. It's just that, but there are a lot of people who will say, yaar, usse kaam nahi ho raha. It's just that how you make use of it.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any other questions?
There's one there.
Yeah, we have a question right there.
There's one here.
Okay. Oh, Bimal has a question. Can we get this mic on, please? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Bimal from Vakils. Great presentation, and I'm also getting into this whole thing of AI. But I've heard that AI spending is outstripping demand, and that the percentage of people actually using it are considerably less. And this is a worldwide, number which I pulled up. What is your thoughts on that?
So since last one, I mean, Shiva sir would probably be an even better person to answer, but since last 1.5 years, the price of using AI has considerably gone down. What used to cost per million tokens back in 2023 or early 2024 compared to now with GPT-4o, I mean, it's probably 1/5 and it's going to go down drastically. So all these, yes, it is costing few paisas. Every conversation that I'm doing with AI is costing few paisas. Every image that is scanning and referencing, it's costing probably 1 paisa or half paisa. But that's too negligible compared to the benefits that we get out of it.
If I may answer that, Bimal, I feel this is basically what companies did to make themselves used to you. So think of when Ola and Uber started. They were started at a really low price point with you to get a habit of using them. If you compare the pricing of Ola, Uber that time and now, there's a big difference. So I completely understand lots of money is being poured into AI in order for companies to be coming at the top. And once we start using it, and I don't think there is any doubt where the demand is not going to come. We can see everyone. I mean, I can see my kids in school use AI, whether it is integrated into Canva or ChatGPT or some of their other tools. So demand will come. Right now, just a lot more money is being thrown at it because people want you to get used to it, and who's going to be the leader at the end of it is what they want to figure out.
I think the biggest problem right now in AI is the amount of power required to run it. I think that's the biggest. I mean, actually, all the largest server farms are setting up their own power systems to actually supply power. The cost is predominantly going to go there. Infrastructurally, there is a gap between the usage versus the infrastructure that's behind. It'll take some time to bridge it. There'll probably be at some point that Amazon, like Amazon Cloud, we have Amazon Power, and if that actually supplies the stuff very well, that cost will be bridged very easily. And it's not very far.
Can we get one last question? I think somebody,
Yeah. Hello. My name is Gautam Bhatt. I am from Extra Chemtech.
That's right.
See, here only.
Yeah.
See, you've gone through you discussed very nicely. Now, more and more users are coming in. So how do you find the industries as a bottom line? The bottom line is a worrying thing because of everything is open now. Everyone knows that what price you are going to offer the prices. If I get some price, if I go to the next door, who do not have the well equipped, but I can very well negotiate with him. In that case, how do you find these industries? After introduction of the what you call AI industries, how do you find the bottom line for the manufacturer?
So that's a completely different question, I would say. I mean, that's finding a USP, that's your marketing skill, that's your negotiation skill. That has...
Sorry, no, not yours.
Yeah. So AI can possibly help you differentiate and possibly get more business. But I think there are lots of parameters dependent on getting us that bottom line. So every company is different. Some focus on bottom line, some on the top line. But AI can help us be a differentiator and possibly get more business out of it.
But in this case, now competition will become more stiffer and stiffer. So the bottom line maintaining is going to be very tough.
Sir, I will get them to speak to you in lunchtime. आप आधे घंटा बात कर लेना.
Thank you, sir.
अभी फिलहाल आई तुझा आशीर्वाद. I'd request Milap to please give both our speakers a memento.
We have a quick conclusion. 1 minute.
Conclusion. Yes, yes.
So thank you to our incredible panelists for sharing their expertise and insights today. It is clear that AI is not just a buzzword, but it's a reckoning force. We have learned about its potential to unleash creativity, improve our productivity, and even revolutionize traditional sectors like printing. If we were to adopt AI, we need to transform our mindset, allocate budgets and resources towards it, and most importantly, have the willingness to experiment on it. My biggest takeaway is that AI is not here to replace us, but it's here to amplify what we can do. So as printers, entrepreneurs, innovators, it is in our best interest to adapt AI so that we are not left by the sidelines, but we become an active part in an AI-driven future. With that in mind, let's take inspiration from what we have heard today and start thinking about how we can bring AI into our business, not any day, but starting right now. Thank you for being such an engaged audience, and a big round of applause for the panelists.